All right, guys, naturally, there are thousands of tools that you could have, and some of us do, but some of us are just getting started with wrenching on our newly acquired 4x4, and we're contemplating, out of the thousands of tools available, what it is exactly that we need in the garage to get started, so that way we can at least perform basic maintenance or fix something minor. This way we don't have to keep spending an ungodly amount of money at the service shops and can save that money on buying new wheels and tires, suspension parts, and accessories from, that's right guys, you guessed it, TrailBuilt Off-Road. So a few of the basic essentials that are going to be your must-haves are gonna start with being able to get your rig off the ground and a way to keep it there. And this is a crucial safety aspect, so spending the extra coin to get a higher quality floor jack and jack stands are worth the trade-off in worrying whether your vehicle is gonna fall on you or not. But even with the best quality jack and floor jacks in the world, not knowing how to properly use them can be just as dangerous as using the cheapest quality crap out there. Also, the bigger the suspension lift or tires, or a combination of both that you have, the taller the floor jack and jack stands will need to be, so it's also important to take that into consideration. Along with having a minimum of 2 jack stands, but having 4 or even 6 of them for when you want your entire rig off the ground is gonna give you the safest option. Personally, I like to be able to roll my floor jack around instead of a stationary bottle jack, and floor jacks that have solid metal wheels to offer the most strength as possible. Plus, a floor jack with wheels will allow the jack to roll slightly when jacking it up and helps prevent the jack mounting point from wanting to slip off its mounting surface. At least when you're on a solid surface like concrete anyways. It's also important to chock or block the wheels that are gonna remain on the ground while jacking so that your vehicle doesn't get away from you while trying to lift it. All in, with decent quality jack stands, wheel chocks, and a floor jack, you're looking to be around a few $100 or so. Next, and something that just might be one of the most used items on the list, is a socket set. And there are a bunch of varieties out there, ranging in price and sizes, but this is another item where it pays to spend a little bit extra to get a more extensive and inclusive kit. Something that has 1/2-inch drive sockets for the bigger stuff, plus 3/8-inch drive sockets for the smaller stuff, and both standard and metric sizes of both 1/2-inch drive and 3/8-inch drive. And these all-in-one inclusive socket kits are a great place to get started, as they'll have a large majority of the hand tools you'll need to take almost anything apart and put it back together again. Plus, a majority of them will come in a portable case and are easy to keep in your vehicle and take to the trails with you. Also, great to have with you are adjustable wrenches, like a crescent wrench and a vice grips for some of the more peculiar situations. And if you're not sure what I mean, well, you will someday. Sometimes, well, actually a lot of times, we need an extra hand to hold things for us while we're trying to fix it or work on it, and a bench vise acts as a great extra hand in the garage. In fact, I just picked one up a few weeks ago and went with the 5-inch. It's a double swivel and rotating. It's a Yoast 750 heavy duty vise, and it's a beast for the price. I mean, there's definitely a lot more expensive vices out there, but for the value and practicality, the Yoast 750 was the best all-around vise that I could find. But even if you're just getting started in the garage, even a $50 bench vise will save you a lot of frustrations from trying to keep something from moving around while you're trying to work on it. The rule of measure twice, cut once couldn't be any more true, but if you don't have a way to measure, well, then I wouldn't suggest doing any cutting at all. So make sure and grab a tape measure. Along with the tape measure, another very handy measuring tool in the garage is a basic stainless steel micrometer. It doesn't have to be digital or anything fancy, but it'll help with measuring any sort of those more precise measurements that you may need. And speaking of precision measuring, knowing what foot-pounds you're torquing your bolts down to can also save you a lot of headaches. Having a torque wrench can mean the difference between spending a few seconds tightening down a bolt or a few hours trying to drill it out because you over-torqued it and broke off the head. A torque wrench doesn't just save you time, but it can save you from spending a lot of extra money that you weren't planning on spending. Just imagine the cost from your lug nuts coming loose and your wheel and tire comes flying off because the lug nuts weren't torqued down to spec. Money might not be the only thing you lose in that situation, so make sure and grab a torque wrench as one of your first purchases, and it'll save your ass more than you know. With building, wrenching, and repairing comes diagnosing, and for a lot of things we can usually see or hear or even feel what the issue might be. But for the electrical issues, most times we're going to need a way to read voltage, and that is a tool called a multimeter. It's one of the best ways of reading and diagnosing electrical issues. It'll give you voltage in both DC and AC, and will also give you an ohm reading or resistance to help with finding bad grounds or wiring LED lights without built-in resistors, and it really is an essential tool to have for anything related to electrical currents. And with any electrical wiring installs or repairs, having a wire strippers, a crimping tool, and electrical connectors will help make the job a whole heck of a lot easier. Although you could get by without having them, but it's really not worth the hassle or potential fire risk from poor wiring by not having them. Another essential component to getting some of the bigger jobs done is what I like to refer to as a BFE, or a big effing hammer to be exact. It's pretty much a mini sledgehammer that can be used to persuade just about anything to go where it needs to go. I use my 3-pound hammer probably twice as much as any of my other hammers combined. And it's not always to use for brunt force, but a lot of times the extra weight of the hammer will provide a little extra control or stability from wanting to rebound as much when it's hammer on metal contact. If it's lighter taps I need, I'll position my hand closer to the head of the hammer for more control. And if I need brunt force, well, then I just grip the handle as far down as possible. But it's amazing how many times I've used my BFH for almost everything that does require a little extra motivation. And our next must-have tool for in the garage and handy to have in so many different types of projects when working on our vehicles is a drill. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be a cordless drill, although cordless drills are much easier to deal with by not having that obnoxious cord getting caught on everything. Plus, you can easily bring a cordless drill with you in your vehicle for when you hit the trails. But even a drill with a cord is better than not having one at all. From drilling holes to using an adapter for all your 1/4-inch sockets to removing screws or replacing screws, a drill can be a major time saver and a very effective tool in many different circumstances. And of course, guys, unless you're always working in a well-lit area, then having a way to see what you're working on is another must, and a great way to do that is by having an LED headlight or an LED magnetic light, or really just any kind of bright battery-operated light to be able to actually see what you're doing. The rechargeable battery-operated LED lights are great to have because they are another useful tool that you can bring with you in your vehicle and out to the trails. And something that's not necessarily a must-have right away, but is really nice to have is a way to organize all of your tools. A smaller type portable toolbox is a great way to start, and after a while you're gonna figure out what you'll need for your particular vehicle for just about every screw, every nut, every bolt, and anything else you might need to complete a successful trail repair, and that's exactly what you'll end up bringing with you in your portable toolbox. Plus, keep your things somewhat organized at the same time. Well guys, I think we pretty much covered just about everything you need to get you started with a pretty comprehensive collection of tools to be able to wrench, build, and repair, well, all of the basic stuff. And guys, this is really just meant to be a reference or a pretty good starting point, and doesn't mean you have to go out and purchase every single item on this list just to get started to work on your rig. Also, for those of us who are really on a tight budget, then check out garage sales, Facebook Marketplace, auctions, secondhand stores. Those are all really great places to start building your tool inventory for not a lot of money. And if you guys have any other ideas for us that we should definitely have in our arsenal of tools, then just let us know in the comments below. And guys, keep in mind that we have free mounting, free balancing, and free shipping to any state in the lower 48 on any wheel and tire package, including beadlocks. And those can all be found right on our website at TrailBuilt Off-Road. And guys, as always, we appreciate all of you for watching and all of your support. I'm Josh from TrailBuilt, and we'll see you guys out in the trails.